Well, it's that time again. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the interview with Craig-Veltri.
Thank you, Megan Pennington, and welcome to the interview. When I introduced you to our guest back in September, I described her music as aggressively optimistic. Don't say I didn't warn you. She's back with her latest single, One Love in a Lifetime, a disco inspired song that calls all the sexy people to the dance floor, and we will play said song at the end of this episode. She has also begun a podcast called Beloved Rebel, which deals with self discovery in part by somatic voice therapy. She also has become a scene builder in Nashville, East Nashville to be exact. You can find her hosting the open mic at France East Side every Tuesday night, recording in Nashville, Tennessee, and calling from a rather rustic area of Nashville, Tennessee, as you can see on the video version of this. Here she is, Cheryl Maria. Cheryl, welcome back to the interview.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So
It's
where are
it's
you
nice to be
walking
back.
along?
I'm walking along someplace. I literally just put trailheads and picked one that was about 18 minutes away, went there and started walking. So I'm just, following my feet.
Well, you've been following your feet quite a bit as far as the promotion for One Love in a Lifetime. Now,
True story.
I have said that, your music up to this point has been, it's a lot of underwater mix. It does tend on the poppy side, but you did really just go full disco on this one. Talk to me just about the writing of this song, and at what point did you say, okay, this needs to sound like a roller skating rink circa 1988, 1978?
So this song is actually a collaboration with someone from here. Well, I think they're actually from Northeast USA. Mr. Joe Raynone, and he's a songwriter. He's been in the music industry for a good 30 or something years. And we connected on Facebook, and some of his songs were particularly inspiring, and this was one of them that I said it really resonates with me. Reference to a four-leaf clover definitely ties into details for me, and the theme of one love in a lifetime being that the real love that you actually are looking for in your life is your own. And we
Mhm.
go through all kinds of other relationships and scenarios searching for something that's going to complete us when actually it's always there with us, right? Um, and it takes some trial and error to actually figure that out.
Well, I mean, we did talk about the last song that we had for you on there was, uh, and the name escapes me right now, but Love of a Lifetime, I think it was
Love of my
previous.
life,
Love of My
actually.
Life,
Yeah.
excuse
Yeah.
me. So,
All good.
so, which was about a particular person, and we did discuss that in the last interview. So
Indeed.
this self discovery and this much, I guess it's is it fair to say that you're much happier loving yourself these days?
Definitely. And the thing is, it's not to say that partnership doesn't fit into the picture. The reality is that whatever your lifestyle is, you have to have that centering in yourself, right?
Hmm. For sure.
And I think that's just, it's not so much a factor of having given up on finding anything additionally, but it is definitely and I'm not going to use the word resignation because that's kind of a ew.
Hmm.
Um, it is a
Contentment,
realization.
perhaps.
Contentment is something, contentment is a good thing.
Hmm.
I wouldn't I wouldn't tag the word so much to myself because I'm a very driven person. I'm always like I'm always going for the next thing. I'm always either trying to do a new song. Now I'm building a coaching program. I'm releasing songs and like probably doing too many things at once. But
Is
anyway,
that
so
why you decided to
content.
make? Is that why you decided to make that a dance song? Was that like
That the
symbolic of the
style of
movement?
the song was actually all Joe's It was all his. He had the song already kind of ready, and I just put the vocals on it. Um, and like I just honestly I love disco music. I love dancing, and it's I was born in the 80s, so it's very reminiscent for me. It's like it kind of hits to the childhood that I didn't have. And yeah, it's a really fun vibe, and it leans towards I think my favorite thing about it is it leans towards a sort of wild dance without too much specific rhyme or reason, and a little bit of silliness like the 80s and disco and rollerblades like John Travolta.
Mm.
That's like it's extra, right? It's all that extra, move your body in the silliest ways, almost play a Jim Carrey thing. And that, but you know what that is? That is somatic movement. That is that is actually you expressing your body and letting your body express itself, right?
Well,
So,
we've been seeing a lot. If people who have followed your social media will know that there has been you just kind of popping up in Printer's Alley and other Nashville landmarks dancing to said song. Is that to say that there are you hinting at a full music video for this song?
could be.
Yeah. The staging and such, it almost seems like like it is cut from one. So
Yes.
are
Well,
you producing these yourself?
there's definitely a music video on the way, and
But
it should be some fun with a few little hints of crazy stuff in it.
is this also emblematic of what your soundscape is to come? I've heard a couple of songs out of you at random open mics over the last month that have not made it to air, and it does have very, shall I say, for lack of better terms, dancey kind of vibes to it. You could probably put the same kind of beat behind it, even though you have also said you've been looking into different forms of dance. I guess my question is the next Cheryl Maria album or EP, is that going to be a dance record?
Yes, I think there's, let me see if it's all gonna, I wouldn't say maybe all dance, but maybe it will be dance. I would say funky. It's
Funky.
definitely gonna have a funky vibe to it. And yeah, I mean, if it's funky, you're gonna dance.
that that
If it's funky, I'm gonna dance. So
well,
you do what you want to do.
well, hey, lay down the boogie and play that funky music till you die, Cheryl Maria, on the
Swear.
craig-veltri interview. Proud member of the Scarfire Media Podcast Network. For more on Scarfire Media, visit our brand new website, scarfiremedia.com. Check out all the great podcasts on the Scarfire Media Podcast Network. Fire Pit coming back soon. Mommy Rockstar coming soon. The Cool Brother Podcast, Emmy Susani's brand new podcast. And thank you for listening to the Craig-Veltri interview. Like, share, and subscribe. Speaking
Do
of
it.
liking and sharing and subscribing, I suggest strongly that the brand new podcast from one Cheryl Maria entitled Beloved Revel is available now. And a lot of the stuff that you had just mentioned about somatic dance therapy
Movement.
and movement is something that you've been really in touch with. Now, it should be no surprise that something that involves, for broader sakes, a meditative term, a voice like yours, it shouldn't be surprising that it's something that is quite engaging. At least I can speak for myself on this one. But uh, you've been on a long journey of self discovery. We talked a lot about where you came from and a lot of your reason for reaching for these kind of therapies. Uh, Explain why you eventually got to the point where you decided to do a podcast.
Um, well, I think the podcasting thing has been in the back of my mind for years, at least 3 years, maybe four. And I have, you know how you put these things off? You have all this self-doubt and you're like, I don't know how long you waited before actually starting your podcast.
It took maybe I had the concept of it for maybe a year, and I my life kind of had to fall apart for me to finally move forward on this, just to have something to do. And here I am 4 years later almost. So noted and correct.
Point in case. So yeah, it's been something that's on my mind. And I think I had to get to a point in my own journey where pieces started falling into place. And I think along the way, I thought, okay, I'm going to share my story, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to like become a pop star and like then have this as a side story. And the deeper I got into
That's what I
actually
did first.
making music, right? The deeper I got into making music and the different, because a huge part of my work is learning where to say no and how to listen to your body and like, when does this not feel right? And I think in the music world, there are so many opportunities that you can say yes to and perhaps get a little edge commercially or industry wise, but it doesn't feel right to your body, right? And I've noticed that every time I follow my feet, so to speak, or just follow that intuition, it's not leading me towards being a pop star per se. Yes, I'm making my music, and yes, I'm going to keep on making that music, and the people who love it and who connect with it are going to have plenty to listen to and to enjoy and to dance along with. But the real point of why I'm making my music is for that connection, that healing, and the realization of your own sovereignty, your own freedom. That's another reason. Okay, I might be sidetracking, but it is one reason why I love the Nashville scene on the like the underground songwriters because this is people who, okay, maybe if they had the opportunity, they'd be in the industry, but there's nothing stopping them from saying anything they want to say in their songs.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that. That's what I love about hosting the open mic on Tuesdays is I get to have people in there, so many different talents, so many different stories, and like everybody just gets to say what they want. And that just makes me happy.
And I'd love to talk more about that in just a second. But as far as the name of it, Beloved Rebel, I had heard an early version of the thing, and I didn't really get the name of it. And then I did a little digging about through a Patreon exclusive of the of Beloved Rebel. Apparently, Beloved Rebel is a spin on your name. Would you care to explain that?
That is true. So how deep do I want to go? How much time do we have? Um,
As long as you want.
all right. So I'll try not to be boring about it, but so
I
I
don't
was
think
born
that's
into this.
possible, kid.
Who knows? I was born into this religious cult, and within that group, everybody's names were Bible derived, right? Everything was Christian based. People who joined the group, they changed their first names to something cracked open from the Bible.
So
And
naturally, your name was Maria. I can't recall a show in
yeah,
the Bible.
yeah. No, my name was Maria. My parents gave me the name Maria, which is probably the most common name in Christianity.
Mary, Maria, yeah.
And Mary, Maria, Marie. And as a child, I never really resonated with it. There was a little bit of a story around that they thought I was going to be a boy until I was actually born because, you know, the hippies, they didn't do ultrasounds. Um,
Yeah.
but they thought I was going to be a boy. So they had a boy's name picked out for me. And then I was born. And then they had to like hustle quickly, get a name for this person that we weren't expecting. And then they just kind of quickly came up with Maria. And they put that on my birth certificate. So I didn't have a second name, which all my other siblings did. And as a child, I was kind of resentful of that, for starters. And
Mhm.
then to top it off, everybody else had the name Maria. So we didn't live for a lot of years, we didn't live directly with our families. We were in large communes. So we were separated into age groups. So I was there with all the other 5 and 6 year olds with our teacher, and our teacher's name was Maria, and there were four other Marias in my age group alone.
Mm.
Um, and so then it was like Maria S, Maria B, Maria C, and oh, you're also Maria S. So guess what they did to me? They decided, and I was a little kid that was like trying to identify with being tough and like I'm a strong little kid, I'm a tomboy.
Hmm.
And then they called me Rosie
Hmm.
because of the tint in my cheeks or like my face. My skin was naturally pink, naturally very red. And they were
Careful,
like,
I might
oh,
start writing.
right. And so they called me Rosie, and I was so offended and angry because, first of all, I was embarrassed about the color of my skin. Second of all, they didn't ask me anything. They were like, oh, we're too many Marias. We're going to name you this. And so it was just like there was all these things piled on top of that name. And then on
So
top
it
of it,
sounds like you're eventually you're gonna reach for Cheryl as almost as a reclamation of an identity. It seems. Would that be fair to say?
it really was. So I was 9 years old when I decided I was going to change my name. There had been no end to the Maria, I just met a girl, and how do you solve the problem like Maria, and all
Well,
the different, all the
I had
Marias.
no intention, but now I must. But
Fuck that shit. Sorry. Am I allowed to swear on this? I didn't ask.
um, we're not FCC regulated. You'll find that out with your podcasts.
Okay. Perfect. So yeah, finally by the time I was 9 years old, and we didn't know about names. We didn't have storybooks with other names in them. So I had never heard of a secular name, really,
Mhm.
except for maybe like Julie, but I think there's probably a Julie in the Bible. I don't know. But
I don't think so.
who knows? But so I decided I was going to make up a name that didn't exist in my world, and that was going to be my name, my own original name. And I sat down with a paper at 9 years old and I put letters together and I rearranged them and I scribbled it all out and I came up with Cheryl and I looked at it and I said, yeah, that's right. That's my name.
So how did it blend for Beloved Rebel? Is it?
That came a lot later. So when I was 9 when I made it up. I was 12 when I made the declaration that you can't call me Maria anymore. I'm going to be Cheryl. So everybody got used to calling me Cheryl. And then only years, decades later, after I had exited the cult, gone through the entire saga with the band,
Yeah.
and exited that and started the journey towards self-discovery. And okay, now I'm here, and Maria is still my legal name. It's still in my passport.
Right.
So I'm having to use it when doing anything official. So it's kind of coming back to me. It's like staring me in the face, like, here's Maria, hi. And so I had to just sort of take a little reckoning, like, okay, how do I feel about this name now? And now that I'm an adult and I don't have all those same childish issues with it, it's just a name. But like, am I going to keep it? Am I going to get rid of it?
And I must invoke that which Shakespeare, that which we call a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. I had to.
I hear you. I see what you did there.
Yeah, but so eventually so which name is Beloved and which one is the rebellious?
Interestingly enough, I looked up the meanings of those names. And earlier, when I was a child, when I looked up the meaning of Cheryl, I had found a meaning that was connected to Celtic origins, which it was something like small and womanly, or the woman running in the fields. And I was just like, hell yeah, that's totally me. And the meaning that I'd always heard for Maria was bitterness.
Hmm.
And when I looked it up a few years ago, like 5 years ago, when I was making this decision, the meaning that I found for Cheryl was connected to the French chérie, which is
Which, by the
beloved.
way, I dubbed you a Miami native in the last episode. It actually turns out you were born in France, correct?
True story, true story. I was born in France. And but I was living in Miami the last few years.
Right.
So basically, yeah, I found the meaning of Cheryl to be chérie, meaning beloved, and then looking up the meaning of Maria again, I found a new meaning, or like I didn't, it's not that I was looking for different meanings, but it's just different one popped up and it said, this is the rebel, or like the stereotype of the rebel. And I was like, well, in that case, I guess Maria is staying. Because If
It
she's the rebel, that's definitely me.
it was it was aptly named, and your family didn't really even know it at the time. So,
True
uh,
story.
and as you moved on, you mentioned already getting to see the underground scene of songwriters through Brand's East Side every Tuesday night. How'd you get that opportunity?
Um, quite quite impromptu actually. I had I'd been looking for a studio, somebody I had met at Tone Central Station, which is the guitar center nearby.
Yeah,
Um, no, they used to be Sam Ash, and they really great little store. Someone
yeah,
I had met there. I had been doing a couple recordings at his little studio,
I know
which
the guy.
didn't work
Yeah.
out, but yeah, it didn't work out entirely, but he knew the people from France, and he was helping them start their open mic on Tuesday night. And he asked me if I would just like be there and help him out. I said, yeah, of course. So I came for the first couple of weeks, and helicopters, sorry for the external noise if you can hear that.
It's
Um,
okay.
and I came for the first couple of weeks, and it was kind of a consensus. I don't know who like decided, but they were like, "Look, Cheryl, if you kind of run this, then we're pretty sure it's going to take off." And I was like, "Hey, that's an opportunity for me. It's a space. What is all this noise?" Um, I was like, "Hey, that's a great opportunity. You know, I think every musician. I don't know if you know the story of Jewel when she first started out.
Yeah, moved from Alaska, wound up in San Diego, and she started just getting her name out there through just randomly doing shows and open mics and stuff like that.
Yes, and there's a specific story that she would do. Like she would play out on the streets and things. And one of the first places that she got to play at, she went and talked to the manager and said, "Look, I'm going to play on the streets and get people into your bar if you give me the stage."
Hmm.
Right? And then that's how she started to grow. So she was basically putting the puzzle pieces together. And I thought, okay, if I can take this empty stage, because Tuesday night was really a very quiet night. It was after the stand-up comedy open mic, and the comedians would all leave, and then nobody would be left hanging around. So it was like an empty spot just waiting to be filled. And I thought, hey, this is a great opportunity for me to bring people together. And I'm going to tell you something that I only told my sister when I arrived in Nashville a year and a half ago. And I came here not even with like zero plan. I was just like, I want to be in Music City,
Yeah.
but I didn't even have a place that I was gonna stay yet. I didn't have anything like set up. And the first night I slept in my car, and I was just like walking around the city, and I sent a video to my sister. I was like envisioning. I was like, a year from today, I'm gonna be good and stable. I'm going to be working on my music. I'm going to be happy, and I'm going to have community around me. I'm going to have a great community of singers, songwriters, and musicians and fellow creatives. And here I am, a year and a
It-
half later, and that has definitely happened.
it's a really great hang. I recommend anybody who's 21 and older to show up at Fran's
That's right. It
for that
is
summer
21
Thursday.
plus.
No.
It is 21 plus. We don't have it's not a kids friendly zone because they serve alcohol.
Well, there's plenty of places that serve alcohol that are kid friendly. For heaven's sakes, Boom Balls
Well,
right next to
I don't
Drifters
know
has a
why then.
playground. So,
Well, I don't know why then, but they can't have kids in there.
well,
So,
so let's look ahead to the rest of the year. You got obviously you seem to have a record ready to roll on that. The new podcast. I mean, what? If you don't seem like the kind of person that likes to look that far ahead, but try. What do you think the rest of the year's looking like for you as far as the podcast, the music, everything?
I feel so called out. Well, you're right. I have not been prone to looking very far ahead. Mostly, I think I blame that on my upbringing, but okay. Um,
Oh, me too.
at this point, at this point, what I hope, so I'm also launching a coaching program, and that is for people who have been through similar abuses, whether it's narcissistic relationships or cult environments or any kind of controlling relationship, the thing that happens in those relationships is that even after we get out of them, there is a certain lack of trust that we have with ourselves because we blame
Mhm.
ourselves. Like, how could I have not seen the red flags? How could I have
Oh
not
yeah,
known what was happening?
yeah.
And that is probably the most erosive factor in these toxic relationships because that's your relationship to yourself.
It's a wonderful thing called dissonance that is so paralyzing sometimes, for sure. Well,
Yes.
I
And anyways, but to answer your question, where I see myself a year from now is my coaching business is running. I'm regularly able to help and influence people to return to themselves, to return to their own sense of sovereignty and joy. Really just reclaiming that joy because
oh
nothing
yeah.
says fuck you to a narcissist than I'm so happy and I'm living my best life and where are you? Oh my God. That and I would absolutely love to be bringing my music into spaces where people who have experienced those things can appreciate it and who can hear the story in it and hear themselves in that story and be like, that's my song. I'm that person and I reclaimed myself and the world is now mine again.
Well,
So
uh,
yes,
I may I
that's my
may
new community.
I may or may not have done a couple of spins in the gym listening to your brand new single today, which again we'll play at the end of the episode.
Oh
And we have a nice way of closing here on the Craig-Veltri interview. As you know, it's called the No Kidding Questionnaire. But since you are a repeat guest on this show, it is time for the No Kidding Questionnaire
yeah. Okay.
2.0. Cheryl Maria, what sound or noise do you love?
What sound or noise do I love? Absolute silence. Like no traffic. You know that, okay, if you've been in deep, deep winter
Yeah.
that lasts for like 6 months, like you have in the north.
Yeah, going through it. Yeah.
Okay. Um, so when you walk out on a quiet night, a clear night, it might be freezing cold. The stars are bright as hell. It's an interesting word to use there. But the stars are incredibly bright. Snow is covering the ground, and the silence that absolutely fills that space because there's no traffic, there's no birds, there's not even a breeze. It's complete stillness. That is probably my favorite sound in existence.
On the other side, what sound or noise do you hate?
Um, Shrieking sounds.
Shrieking sounds.
Yes, anything that's like too. My ears are very sensitive to high pitches.
Mhm.
Um, so even sometimes when there's like good music, but some of the pitches are just too high, I have to just like, oh, you haven't played part of that, but half of that really hurts. So
So
I
not
I
not a
can't stand
fan
really
of
high.
heavy metal. Then I would gather like certain hair bands that have that wailing kind of vocalist.
Actually, they usually EQ their voices well enough that that isn't an issue. Like they're doing that on purpose, so it is well toned. And I actually do like a good angry bit of metal every now and then. It's very therapeutic.
You've mentioned your love of Evanescence, so that all
Mm,
checks. What
yes.
is speaking of, and maybe it's an Evanescence songs for this question. What is the one song that you are not yet tired of playing, singing, or listening to?
Hmm. Well, when you say not yet, does it have to be one that I've listened to for a long, 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 long time, or um
Whichever one comes to your mind.
um so Florence and the Machine is a band that I absolutely love because she gets deep into actually everything that I've experienced, that sort of religious trauma, the return to self, the self-betrayal, the the whole experience of being a woman and feeling undervalued in this world at large,
Yeah.
and especially in the music industry and in all these kind of things. So, yeah, one from her most recent album. I don't remember the title of it, but it's I no longer try to be worthy. I don't have to be good. It didn't keep me safe like you told me that it would. Such a freaking great song. Words are on
Comment
point.
down below because I haven't listened to Florence and the Machine since college, and
Definitely give it a
she's great.
listen.
I'll
Yes.
I'll track it down for you.
Hell
Uh,
yeah.
if reincarnation is real, what animal or organism do you hope to come back as?
Hope. I love the theory that if you if you're a racist in this life, you're gonna come back as the race that you hate. Just to teach you a lesson.
Karma, I
But
think they call it.
I don't know. What would I hope to come back as in a new life? Uh, Probably some kind of bird,
Popular
an
answer.
eagle or falcon or something that can just fly.
Big wings, bird of prey too.
Hey, why not? I like meat. I like eating meat.
Well, that might lead into the next question. What is your favorite food to make at home?
Uh, well, I'm lazy with cooking, and I like to be very peculiar about what I cook. I always cook for myself, by the way. I try to do a grocery shopping of about like $100 and see how long that lasts, which usually is at least 2 weeks and sometimes three.
Okay.
So um my I like making like a chicken adobo or pasta is super simple,
Yeah.
kind of basic though. Sometimes it just gets boring to make pasta, but I usually stay with like a rice and meat or rice and fish with something like broccoli or Brussels sprouts. Those are like my go-tos.
We may have touched upon it earlier in the interview, but Cheryl, what is your favorite curse word?
Fuck.
Mm, certainly a versatile one. Last question
It
of the
is.
questionnaire. If you were given the choice between starting your life over with your current knowledge at age 6 or $10 million, which one would you take?
Hmm. Very interesting conundrum. All this knowledge at 6 years old, that'd be way too wise.
I've heard your podcast. That's a good point.
Um, Although with as many ambitions as I currently have, probably would take the $10 million and use all the things that I've been through. Because as much as I would like to undo, and this is an interesting thing because I heard this on other podcasts where the question is if you could go back and undo the harm that was done, would you or wouldn't you? And a lot of people are like, no, because it made me who I am. And I think it was Diary of a CEO interview with Trevor Noah, and he
Yeah.
was like, I would not change. No, I would absolutely change it. I would change it for sure because those things didn't have to happen. And I think there's something really valid to that. There's a lot of stuff in my past, not all of it to me, but I think mostly to the people around me, people that were affected by those scenarios. That did not have to happen, not at all.
Mhm.
Um, and if I had the power to change that, yes, I would definitely do so. But that would like for me, that would mean changing an entire like chapter of history. And I don't know, then I get too far into the inception of like, okay, so to change this, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
It blows my mind and I cannot fathom it. So for for the simplicity of my finite brain, I would say what I can imagine is what I would do with $10,000 right now, because there's a lot of good that I would do. There's a lot of change that I could enact, even though 10,000 is a finite number and it is limited.
Mm.
There's still a whole lot that I could do
Well,
without.
not as limited as 10 million. So it would have. So
Yeah, no,
yeah, either way, it's a life changer. That's why I like asking that question, and I
that's
do like
true.
asking this final question. As you know, this is the part of the program where every guest should enjoy it the most. It is time for shameless self promotion. The new single's available. Beloved Rebels hitting RSS feed and doing gangbusters, I'm sure. Where can we find it? Where can we find you Tuesday night and otherwise? Fire away.
Excellent. So you can find my website at cherylmaria.com. If you would like to support me, find my Patreon page, Beloved Rebels, where you can listen to my podcast, get some behind the scenes things, and support what I'm doing. And I am publishing. Find me on social media, cherylmaria.music, because I'm publishing not only my backstory and interesting insights from growing up in a cult, and how those things affected not only me, but people who suffer from coercive abuse. But I am launching a coaching program called Sovereign and Secure, or Secure and Sovereign, which I can never remember in which order it is, but those are very two key important points: sovereign and secure, which is through different somatic practices like brain spotting and NLP and movement and dance, the practice of returning to yourself and reinstating joy and self-love, if you would. And for those of us who need it or who feel like we've lost it in the process, faith, because faith does not have to rely on a religion. Whatever is sacred to you, that's what you need. Anywho, so yes, any of those, cherylmaria.music on socials, cherylmaria.com on the web. Beloved Rebels is my podcast, and you can find my Patreon under the same name, Beloved Rebels.
Cheryl, it's been a pleasure talking to you. A pleasure even more to know you, and I'm excited for whatever it is that comes next to you. And thank you for joining me here on the Craig-Veltri interview.
Thank you, and hopefully I'll see you again on Tuesday at Friends.
You got it. Thanks for letting us walk with you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
The Craig-Veltri interview, where Craig-Veltri interviews wonderful people, is a production of Scarfire Media, the voice of the independent artist, written and edited by Craig-Veltri. Your announcer is Megan Pennington. The opening theme, Shut Up, I Love You, written by Trenton Chandler and Craig-Veltri, performed by Craig-Veltri, produced by Jack Gavin. The latest single from Moonshine, Vagabonds, Inside the Cabin, is available now and already doing incredible numbers on several charts, including the Radio Indie Alliance, where Megan and I are sitting pretty at number 8 this week. Thank you so much to them for putting our song up, and we look forward to appearing on the Pennsylvania Rock Show with Bill Domiano, to be recording that on March 2nd. I believe it'll be live, but keep it locked to all our social medias for that and all of our appearances. Speaking of all of our appearances, time now to update the event calendar, because you must know where I am at all times. Friday, February 27th, and Friday, February 28th, it'll be me and the Vagabonds full band show at Tin Roof, Memphis from 10:30 to 2:30. For full dates, including Pittsburgh, Nashville, New York City, and next week with myself and Megan Pennington, the Moonshine Vagabonds, in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, and Reading, Pennsylvania, visit my website, craig-veltri.bandzoogle.com. For booking info, including full band and this podcast, email me at craig-veltri@gmail.com. You can find the interview on Facebook by searching the Craig-Veltri interview, YouTube at Craig-Veltri Music, and you can find me on Instagram, or as my old roommate, the Tommy Thomas, used to call it, Instagirl, at craig.veltri. For Cheryl Maria, I'm Craig Veltri, and this has been the Craig Veltri interview. With that, I'll pass. Here's One Love in a Lifetime, the latest from Cheryl Maria on the Craig Veltri interview, proud member of the Scarfire Media Podcast Network.
the height. Love the height. Take your time, think it over. There's only one way that I will stay. Take it back, what you said to me. Your words hurt, baby, can't you see? You're not sincere, your words are for show. But there's one thing I think you should know. Acting like an angel, don't make no points with me. No more empty promises, this time I think of me. Love, oh, love. There's only one love in a lifetime. It's so good, it's so right. There's only one love in a lifetime. I don't know why I treat you so good. I'll drive you crazy like a real love should. Take your time, oh, think it over. Come on, make a wish on a four-leaf clover. You look good, I got charisma, but tell me, baby, how much more do I gotta give you? Love, I said love. There's only one love in a lifetime. It's so good, it's so right. There's only one love in a lifetime. Oh, I said love. There's only one love in a lifetime. It's so good, it's so right. There's only one love in a lifetime.
Your attention, please. All the sexy people step to the dance